Now see, first of all, you should know, I told you what is replication. Replication was the process in which DNA forms another copy of DNA. Today I am going to discuss transcription. Now transcription is simple. How we define it? It is the formation of RNA from DNA. As I mentioned in my previous videos also, there is a central dogma of information, that is flow of information, how the information flows in our body. First of all, this DNA which is present in the chromosomes undergoes a process of replication. It forms RNA which is actually known as hnRNA. This hnRNA is then converted into mRNA. mRNA is messenger RNA which is actually taking the messages, and this mRNA translates the information in the form of proteins by a process known as translation. So in my previous video I had finished this segment, how DNA forms DNA. In this video of mine, I am going to discuss transcription, which is formation of hnRNA. We are going to take these terms in detail. Now let's start it with this. Now see, the definition is synthesis of RNA using single-stranded. Now all of you know that what is the basic difference between DNA and RNA. DNA is double-stranded, whereas RNA is single-stranded. So it is but obvious that if DNA is double-stranded, only one strand of DNA will act as a template to form RNA. And always remember, in my previous video also I told you, new strand is always synthesized in the direction 5' to 3'. Always. Whether it is DNA, as you saw also, okay, DNA undergoes formation of two types of strands just to maintain the complementarity and anti-parallel nature of the daughter strands. One was the leading strand and another was the lagging strand. Now here you can see it is simply synthesis of RNA using single-stranded RNA as a template. And that template has to be dependent on DNA because it is synthesized from DNA. But since it is polymerization of RNA, so it has to be RNA polymerase. Now, if we have to compare transcription and replication, the basic difference is transcription does not require a primer, and a replication cannot start without a primer. This is a very, very important difference, and it is asked in the exam also. Again, I am telling you is, what happens is in a replication, it always starts with the help of a primer. That was RNA primer in that case, even though that primer is removed once the function is over. And here, transcription does not require a primer. Only a short segment of DNA is transcribed. Right? Then next, what are the salient features of transcription? First is synthesis of all type of RNAs takes place in the nucleus. Only one strand of DNA participates, and ribonucleotides are used in RNA synthesis. Obviously, there is a difference between NTPs and DNTPs. NTPs, simple nucleotide triphosphate in which ribose sugar is there, and DNTPs in which deoxyribose sugar is there. So ribonucleotides are used in RNA synthesis. Then another very important point, all the features are very, very important. RNA synthesis always occurs in 5' to 3' direction. In fact, new strand is always synthesized in 5' to 3' direction. Then synthesis will obviously follow the Watson-Crick base pairing. The only difference here is that in RNA, uracil is present in this instead of thymine. Means in RNA, uracil is there, whereas DNA has thymine instead of uracil. So adenine in DNA, if it is pairing up with thymine, here it will be replaced by uracil. This is the only difference. Then the enzyme is very, very important. It is DNA dependent RNA polymerase. Again, this is a very important question which is asked in the exam. It has to be dependent on the sequences of DNA, but since polymerization of RNA is there, so it is DNA dependent RNA polymerase. Then what are the basic requirements for this? First is obviously the template or the single-stranded RNA, enzyme which is DNA dependent RNA polymerase, and ribonucleoside triphosphates. And one very important thing, again I am telling you, no primer is required here. No primer required. Right, so these are the basic 3 requirements to initiate the process of transcription. Then just now I told you the strand of DNA which is transcribed to RNA is known as, this is a very, very important slide, very important. See, these are the 2 strands of DNA. You can see one is running in the direction 5' to 3', other is running in the direction 3' to 5'. Now, new strand is synthesized in the direction 5' to 3'. So, this DNA strand, which is running in the direction 3' to 5', will now work as a template from which RNA has to be synthesized. So, this strand is known as the template strand, and this strand is also known as the non-coding strand. Non-coding strand. But it is working as a template. And the interesting feature about this is, obviously, the non-template, which is running in the 5', 3' direction, it is the coding strand and it is the sense strand. And a very interesting feature about this I'm going to tell you here is, you can see this strand is similar to this strand. Same. The only difference is thymine is replaced by uracil. Or otherwise you can say the new RNA, yeah, you can say the RNA which is synthesized from the template DNA, it is having a sequence similar to that of the coding strand or the non-template strand. So this is the most important aspect which you people should know. What is the difference between coding and non-coding? What is template? What is non-template? So this is how you can see the synthesis of RNA starts. Now, when we look at the basic steps involved in transcription are, first is obviously initiation, how the process is initiated or started. Once it is initiated, it has to undergo elongation. And once it undergoes elongation, then it undergoes termination also. And then it is released. Because what happens is, if we compare the structure of prokaryotes and eukaryotes, in prokaryotes, if we say, prokaryotes have what? They have polyribosomes and the nucleus is as such, it is naked also. So RNA ki synthesis takes place there only. But if we take eukaryotes, eukaryotes have a well-defined nucleus. There this hnRNA is produced inside the nucleus, and when it undergoes translation, it has to be released into the cytoplasm, where the translation occurs. So these are the 3 very, very important steps in transcription. Now let's take up these steps one by one. First of all, we are going to take initiation. Initiation is what? It starts with the recognition of the promoter sequences. This is again very important on the DNA strand by RNA polymerase. So if the question is asked, what is the fidelity enzyme for transcription? It is RNA polymerase, but dependent on DNA. Then what do you mean by the term promoter sequences? Now see, DNA has got so many base pairs. So first of all, as we studied in replication also, I told you there has to be a specific origin of replication to start the process, because DNA has so many base pairs. So from where this process has to start, That is very important. Same is the case here. Promoter sequences mein there has to be a specific area in DNA which actually is required for the synthesis of RNA. So promoter sequences are what? They are the specific areas on DNA that access starting signals for initiation process. Now the question which must be striking your mind is, who's going to recognize these sequences? So this is again not a child's play. It is always initiated with the help of enzymes. Whenever we talk about any biochemical reaction, always remember, without enzymes, nothing is possible. So the enzymes here are RNA polymerase, which is the fidelity enzyme for transcription. Now that depends, again there are so many sequences. So from where this particular promoter sequence is present, or which component of this RNA polymerase is going to start it, or it is going to recognize it. So there has to be an upstream downstream sequence, and the start site I have denoted by +1. Right. Now see, this is a very good slide. Here you can see promoter region. There are 3 regions basically. One is promoter region, which is the specific region in DNA where transcription is initiated. Transcription unit, where actually the entire process is taking place, where DNA template is transcribed. And termination, when the process terminates. So here our main focus would be on promoter sequences, how to recognize promoter sequences, or what is the structure of RNA polymerase enzyme. Now, see, if we talk about prokaryotes, promoter sequences of prokaryotes are rich in Tata box. Tata box, the reason may be because this thymine is replaced by uracil. One can easily demarcate between DNA and RNA. So it is known as Pribnow box. Most frequently asked question in the exam. Pribnow box or Tata box, which is located -10 base pairs on the left of origin of transcription. I'll show you the picture also in the next slide. So it is what? It is the Pribnow box which is rich in this sequence. It is 35 base pair upstream of the transcription unit. See, here you can see promoter is there, transcribe. This is the start site. And this is the promoter sequence from where the transcription is started. And this is the entire transcription unit. Here you can see I have easily demarcated the strands, also coding strand and the template strand, which is also known as the non-coding strand, which is actually synthesizing the RNA. Right? Then this RNA polymerase of prokaryotes has 5 subunits: alpha, alpha dash, beta, beta dash, and sigma. Now, what is the function of this sigma subunit? The sigma subunit is actually helping in recognition of the promoter sequences. Very important. Sigma factor recognizes promoter sequences. RNA polymerase without a subunit is called as the core enzyme. And this core enzyme with sigma subfactor is the holoenzyme. The entire unit alpha, alpha, this combined unit is the holoenzyme. But if we take out this is known as the core enzyme. And this is the holoenzyme. And the sigma factor has only one function to perform. That is, it will just recognize the promoter sequences so that the process is initiated. And in the eukaryotes, when I mention about the enzyme, I'll tell you one thing more. In eukaryotes, RNA polymerase is of 1, 2, 3 types. But in prokaryotes, it is alpha, alpha dash, beta, beta dash, and sigma. Now, these are the individual functions of the different units. Alpha helps in binding of the regulatory proteins. Beta helps in the formation of phosphodiester bond. Beta dash fixes RNA polymerase to the DNA template. This is very important. Sigma subunit recognizes and binds to promoter region of DNA, and thus it is initiating the process of transcription. Very important. And you can see this is again a very important point. In bacteria, one species of RNA polymerase can synthesize all the molecules, whether it is messenger RNA, transfer RNA, or ribosomal RNA. Wherein in eukaryotes, RNA polymerase is divided into further classes 1, 2, and 3 to synthesize different type of RNAs. This is a very important slide. Again, I am telling you, this is the question which is most frequently asked. Sigma subunit, when it combines with it, it is forming a holoenzyme. Without sigma unit, this is the coenzyme. And the only function of sigma is helping in recognition of the promoter sequences, or which are rich in Tata box or the Pribnow box. Then another very important thing in DNA, you remember that I told you a proofreading activity is there. RNA lacks this proofreading activity. The reason can be whatever RNA is produced, it undergoes modification also, that which is known as post-transcriptional modification. And the major difference between RNA polymerase and DNA polymerase is, one is no primer is required for RNA polymerase, and RNA lacks a separate proofreading activity. And the error rate for transcription is obviously higher because no proofreading activity is there, and it is roughly 10 to 4 times more than replication. Even though error causes little damage because they are not transmitted to daughter cells or the next generation, because they have to undergo post-transcriptional modification, and then it is basically translating the information in the form of genetic code as translation process. So this is a very important thing. Again, what is the difference between RNA polymerases and DNA polymerase? Then identification of, this is how initiation starts, identification of a promoter region. Just now I told you sigma unit of RNA polymerase identifies the sequence and then it binds to the promoter region. And what is the function of beta unit? It fixes to the promoter region of the template strand and initiates the process. Now, once the promoter sequences are recognized, the function of sigma factor is over and it is released. And then a transcription bubble is formed. You can see this is how RNA is being produced. This is the bubble, or this is the vicinity where this process is occurring. So this transcription, what is the composition of this transcription bubble? It consists of the polymerase enzyme, obviously DNA template from which it is synthesized, and the new RNA which will be produced. And supercoils, just in case of DNA, they are overcome, they are the stress and strain which is actually there. It is released by topoisomerase enzyme. And this is how the initiation starts. Now, once the initiation starts, automatically elongation will start. RNA polymerase will elongate by adding ribonucleotides to the 3' hydroxyl end, and this uses forming phosphodiester bonds, releasing PPI each time. This is how the reaction occurs. Suppose if adenine is there, uracil will come, UTP. UTP will come to bind with this and PPI will be liberated, giving energy to the reaction. This is how it goes. So each nucleotide in a newly formed RNA is selected by this pair, obviously. Now, elongation is occurring, initiation is there, termination. Termination is actually of two types. One is a rho-dependent termination. Rho is actually a hexameric protein which attaches itself to the DNA strand and dissociates it from DNA strand. And one is rho-independent termination. Rho-dependent means rho kya karega? Just suppose if this is the transcription bubble and this is the formation of RNA. This rho will bind itself here and it will take it out like this. So the RNA will be stripped off. On the other hand, rho-independent means it does not require any rho protein to come out. Palindromic sequences occur at the DNA. So due to these sequences, the newly synthesized RNA folds itself to form a hair loop-like structure, which actually terminates the movement of RNP, and this is the hairpin structure. This is how it is released. Now, one question which will strike your mind is, what are palindromes? Or again, this is a very important question. Palindromic sequences are those which from forward or backward direction, if read, they are similar. जैसे madam, you can see, यहाँ से पढ़ो वहाँ से पढ़ो, it's same. Malayalam. So whenever palindromic sequence appears on the DNA strand, RNA immediately strips it out from that, and when it moves, it forms a cruciform or a hairpin-like structure. This is rho factor is an ATP dependent, recognizes and it disrupts the nascent RNA DNA complex, and this is how rho factor is taking it out. And this is what is cruciform hairpin or cruciform type of structure. So this is how transcription in prokaryotes takes place. And this is a very good slide again. You can see role of palindromes, and this is the formation of that hairpin-like structure. This is how RNA comes out. And then it undergoes splicing, which I'm going to discuss in my next video. Then this is a very important slide again. It is depicting the differences between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Now you can see prokaryotes, you have seen it is very simple. Eukaryotes, they are highly complex and transcription is also complex. Prokaryotes, only one RNA polymerase is there which has subunits. Alpha, alpha dash, beta, beta dash, and sigma. Whereas here it is RNA polymerase 1, it is RNA polymerase 2, it is RNA polymerase 3. Then promoter sites are there. Promoter sequence is known as Pribnow sequence, which is rich in Tata box. And here the promoter sequence is known as Hogness box. Initiation requires sigma factors, but here initiation, as I told you, the transcription in eukaryotes is very complex. It requires so many initiation factors. These initiation factors are required with RNA polymerases to start the process of transcription. Promoter sequences are, just now I told you, it is Hogness box located at 25 to 30 base pairs upstream to the start point. It acts as a signal. And CAAT box, it is located 70 base upstream, but it has to be rich in Tata box only. But the name is different. There it was Pribnow, here it is Hogness box. Again, a very important question. This is how you can see, this is the Hogness box. Start of transcription, this is the CAT box. Sequences within the eukaryotic promoter region that are recognized by RNA polymerases 2. There it was recognized by the sigma subunit of RNA polymerase. Then RNA polymerase of eukaryotes में RNA polymerase 1 synthesizes ribosomal RNA. RNA polymerase 2 synthesizes messenger RNA, and RNA polymerase 3 synthesizes transfer RNA. So you can see the difference between the transcription in prokaryotes and eukaryotes.